Hi everyone, we're going to be reading Del Toro Moon by Darby Cartnett, and today we're going to be reading Chapter 11. Are you sure you shouldn't be resting? Reaching around, Elsid nosed me as I groomed him. That's all I've been doing, for 3 whole days. I swept the brush along his ribs. I'm sick of hanging around the house. Besides, Dad said going with you guys this afternoon would be good for me. Fresh air and sunshine and all that. I worked for a few moments, then asked, "So, you feeling okay? I assume you're still worried about what Kathleen said." "Well, you needn't be. I know how to pace myself." He sniffed. "I'm not elderly. I know. I'm in my prime. Thank you very much." Grinning, I finished up, then tossed the brush across the barn. It landed in the wooden storage bin with a satisfying thud. I flung my arms up. "Score!" "What's taking you so long?" Izzy called from outside. "I could have run to the state line and back." With Elsid on my heels, I hurried out of the barn and into the afternoon sun, joining Turk and Izzy. A few puffy clouds, sky sheep, mandered eastward, their shadows rolling on the ground. Man, but it was good to be outside. And alive. Alive was fine with me. My father appeared. He strolled down the porch steps and walked over, all city spiffy in clean jeans, polished boots, and sport coat covered over a white shirt. No hat, though. "Isn't it kind of early for a town council meeting?" I asked. Facing Elsid's side, I grabbed some mane, twisted my fingers in the wiry hairs, then bent my left knee and stuck my foot out. One-handed, Dad grasped my lower leg and lifted me up. Once mounted, he shifted into a natural dip behind Elsid's withers. "The council will meet later this evening. However, I wish to speak to Inez Ortega beforehand in private." Elsa sighed. "Don't tell me she's back at it again." "She is." Dad sighed. Dad's sigh matched the stallion's. He ran a hand along the massive neck. "Our mayor is still seeking a way to bring that project here, even though the other council members are more wary. But you might be able to convince them. Argue that the dig will help repair the maze's reputation, especially if it is successful." Izzy cocked her head. "Successful like they find a truckload of fossils?" "Successful like no one gets eaten." Turk snapped his teeth, then chuffed. "Nothing like leftover body parts to put a damper on tourism." "Too bad we can't tell them the truth," I said. "About the Skinners?" the black snorted. "No offense, Hoff, but your youngest is an idiot." "Turk," Dad began. "But why can't we?" Izzy interrupted. "Tell the mayor and council, I mean. Some of the older folks around the Navarre Ranch know about us hunters and what we do. They're cool about it. Kathleen told me once that an elderly lady stopped her in town and blessed her. She said she slept soundly knowing we were around." "You are our shield against the dark things of the night." Izzy clopped her lips. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think?" "Sadly, it's a different era," Elsid said. "Back then, belief in things skewed towards the mythical end on the spectrum was acceptable. Somewhat. But with each new generation, humans find it harder to believe." I frowned. "Believe in monsters, you mean?" "And heroes." Dad glanced at his watch. "I must go," El said. "South today?" "Yeah, go south," I thought. "South is good. Away from the maze." My head knew the words kept us safe. The rest of me always looked over one shoulder. El said his Elsid took his time answering. He lifted his nose and swung his head in a circle, pretending to read the wind. Turk flattened his ears, and it irritated the fire out of him that Dad left it up to Elsid to dictate the horse's daily workout. Holding my grin, I ducked my head, then leaned forward and smoothed a hank of mane. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Dad fighting back a smile, too. I remember when Ben once asked our father why didn't just tell the stallions how far and in which direction to take on their daily run. "You give us orders all the time," my brother had added, pushing it as usual. I had cringed at Ben's tone and hoped Dad would let it pass. To my relief, he had only shrugged. "Our war brothers know what is expected of them on the hunt, especially El Cid. I trust him to keep himself and Turk at an optimum level of strength and endurance without instructions from me. And besides, we waited. We waited. Nothing." "Besides what, Dad?" I prompted. He hesitated, then spoke. "The relationship we have with the war horses is one based on respect and equality, and a warrior's bond forged in battle. No?" At our twin head bobbles, he continued, I cannot order them to do anything, except under a rare situation, for we are fellow hunters in the same way. I must not appear to favor one or the other. Compod comprehende? I don't get it. Oh, I don't get it. Oh, I nodded. So that's why you let El Cid be in charge of their workouts? A small gesture for my old partner, to make up for Turk being, well, Turk. Thought you didn't do faves, Pop, Ben said. Between the war horses? No. Between my sons. Between the war horses? No. Between my sons. He waggled a hand back and forth. Even my brother had laughed. Dad slapped my knee, pulling me from the memory. Not too much today, Matt. Rest when you return. If Ben is still napping, get him up and tell him I want the other straw bales rotated to the front of the stack before they rot. He climbed into the truck and drove off. We waited until the dust, apparently bored of hanging around the ranch, drifted away. Well, which way? Izzy asked, moving up beside us. She pranced in place, hide twitching and tail slashing like they say in the movies. I feel the need for speed. See the trail running south? Elsid pointed his nose. Follow it. About 2 miles. You'll come across an unpaved road that runs west from Huffano to the foothills. Quite popular. Do you ever shut up? Turk wheeled around and broke into an extended trot, gravel pinging under his steel shoes. A few strides. Then he hit the accelerator and lit it out, his tail a black banner, with ATV enthusiasts and dirt bikers. Sorry, Elsid, as he said, but I've got to agree with the jerk this time. Enough talking. Let's kick up some dust. The sorrel beside us, we tore across the prairie, my body moving in rhythm with Elsid's stride. Stride, yeah. Tears leaked from my eyes. I hunched over, left hand buried in the gray's mane. In my other hand, I carried my mace bounced across the stallion's withers. To my right, the mountain range was a grand stand. I pretended the whoosh of the wind in my ears was a crowd cheering me on. Hold on, Matt, Elsid warned over his shoulder. Just in time, I tightened my legs around his barrel. A split second later, Elsid leaped into the air with a grunt, and an Andalusian Pegasus. His powerful hindquarters hurled us across a narrow ario. Sorry, I don't know what that is. I glanced down at the dark wound in the earth, then prairie grass again. Landing, I barely kept my seat, skidding forward until he evened out. Then I was off to the races again. Izzy in the lead by a half length, letting her surge ahead. Ellis had shifted down into cruising speed. Good he didn't need to be pushing it. The horses were streaked with white lather by the time I sighted Turk. Elsid's sweat soaked the seat of my jeans. We slowed to a trot, then eased into a walk, the gray hooves stirring the dust. His ribs rose and I fell beneath my calves. What took you so long? Turk's neck and chest gleamed like polished black marble. Thought you could outrun the old goat, sweetheart. Oh, go kiss a rattlesnake, Izzy fired back, sides heaving. Don't encourage him, I said. He'll probably kill the poor thing. A high-pitched whine caught my attention. For a split second, I thought it was flies. Those kind of flies. Elsid swung around, ears pricked toward the east, my hand shielding my eyes. I squinted. A cloud of reddish-pink dust lit by the lowering sun billowed behind several dark shapes moving for us. The whine of dirt bike engines deepened into a rumble. Turk and Izzy joined us. Is this going to be a problem? She asked. Nah, they're cool. Just some guys from town. I watched as a pair of riders carried over ruts and through potholes, their bikes, front fenders flapping like waving hands with each bounce. They coasted to a stop a few yards away. One of them lifted a couple of fingers off the handles in greeting. Hey, Ethan. Nice ponies, Matt, he said with a grin. His helmet partially obscured a mass of freckles threatening to take over his features. When you going to ditch them and come ride with us? I've got an extra bike. No way. I've got more horsepower than your two tricycles put together. I grinned back, but inside a tiny flame of envy flared up. I wondered what it'd be like to live in town. Maybe have a bike too, to hang out with friends my age and speakries, sorry, without dodging awkward questions about my family. Family. I slipped my fingers beneath Elsid's mane and pressed my palm against the blend of warmth and strength to remind myself who family was and always would be. Want to race? The other rider twisted the throttle. The engine wailed in protest, and the stink of gasoline poisoned the afternoon. Then, with his free hand, he thumped the air horn duct taped to the handlebars. The flare about took the top of my head off. I winced. Not the war horses, though. They were equine statues crafted from marble and onyx and red granite. Not an ear twitched, not an eye blinked. Heck, even the manes and tails froze in place. Pride swelled my chest. Knock it off, Chris, I said. Can't you see you're freaking them out? Whatever. He let off the throttle and horn. So, you want to race? Race. Man, did I. Wanted to in the worst way. A chance to show off the speed and agility of an Andalism. How about along the trail to those trees and back? Chris pointed toward a clump of pinions 100 yards away. 100 yards along the dirt path. Now I'll pass. Too rocky for them. Elsa flicked his ears back, two fingers pointing accusingly at me. I ignored them, as well as Izzy's angry snort. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, you're probably right. And anyway, Ethan craned his neck. The trail's kinda narrow. Not if you're in the lead, Turk said loudly. Shut up, I mouthed at him. Ethan looked around in confusion. Did you just say... Oh man, what time is it? I pretended to look at a watch I wasn't wearing. I was supposed to be home an hour ago. You know, chores and stuff. Well, gotta go. See you guys later. I squeezed my legs, hoping Elsid would get the message. To my relief, he stepped out, then broke into a trot. I heard the other horses fall in behind us. After a few minutes, Izzy and Turk shouldered past and loped ahead of us. As Elsa jogged home, head bobbing in time with his gait, I chewed on the realization. Something that I'd always known but never really thought about. One that didn't taste so good. None of my friends, like a real friend, someone outside of my family, had 2 feet. Did that make me weird? I didn't used to feel that way, but now I wondered, was I a freak? And that is the end of chapter 12. Kind of a cheesy ending, I'd have to say, but I kind of enjoyed it. If you like this, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, just throw them in the comments. Okay, thanks for listening. See ya.